हेलो गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीवन वेलकम बैक टू टॉकीफाई शो आप सभी का स्वागत है About myself, my name is Kashish Kaur. I'm 14-year-old girl from Delhi. I'm founder of two new startups, the Talkify Show and the Little Yoga Club. In this show, we invite brilliant minds from all over the world to share their journey, achievements, and their struggle with you all. So, who do we have today as a guest? Today's guest is a LinkedIn top voice, next generation. Someone with over 1,40,000 followers, content creator, LinkedIn expert, senior editor, anchor at The Representative, and a podcaster. So, बिना किसी देरी के जल्दी से इनवाइट करते हैं आज के सुपर टैलेंटेड गेस्ट को. So, please welcome Radhika Bajoria. Hey Radhika, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, Kashish. How are you doing? It's so inspirational to see that at such a young age, you have been talking to some industry leaders and trying to gain insights from them. So keep it up with whatever you're doing.
Thank you so much. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I think you've introduced me well enough, but introduction, as I say, is something that needs to be perceived from what others feel and not what you feel about yourself. But and it's the most difficult part about introduction is that you need to talk about yourself, and it is saying that khud ko paliya to bhagwan ko paliya. So nobody knows themselves so well, to introduce. So I think whatever you said was really to the point, and that is what something that I've been into. Just additionally, that people might not know is that I don't really think too much before doing something or planning something. And that's the reason why I started out on LinkedIn as well. These days people have this issue, that how will I write, what will people think about me, and how will I pull this off. So I think that is something that needs to be kept aside, and you need to have faith in yourself that whatever you'll do, of course you'll face failures in the first attempt, but that is how you learn and grow and achieve success at your own pace and time. So that is something that helped me grow a little bit whatsoever I've gained. So that is something that I'd like to talk about myself apart from what you already said.
Wow, that's great. So, Radhika Di, you have a great journey on this very own LinkedIn platform from zero to over 1 lakh plus followers. So, and then you become LinkedIn top voice too. So, in just 3 years. So, I want to know about your LinkedIn journey and does it help in your professional or personal life?
Yeah, of course. LinkedIn is a platform that is meant for professionals, and the reason why people create their LinkedIn profiles is to connect with different people and establish good relations with them. And the way to do that is to establish your creativity on the platform. And how do you do that? It is just through your posts, your articles, or whatsoever activity that you do on LinkedIn. Considering it's a social media platform, you need to show your presence in order to get the attention that you want. In the beginning, I didn't have any expectations as to what I want from the platform. And I think that's the most beautiful part about it, because whenever you have expectations and when they're not met, that is when disappointment kicks in. And that is when you feel that why am I doing what I'm doing? So I think to just succeed on whatever you're doing with motivation on a daily basis, it's very important to realize that you shouldn't have any expectations, that too which are something that cannot be met in real time. It's of course good to dream, to expect something from you, but don't set deadlines for yourself that you can't meet. Be very realistic. And I think when I started out on LinkedIn, I was realistic that I'm starting out for the first time. I might not get traction, and that's totally fine. But as humans, we still expect something good to happen to us. In our own mind, we are our own stars, and we feel that at least we should get 10 to 15 likes to begin with. But that wasn't the case when I started out. I just got 3 likes on my first LinkedIn post. Of course, wrong, or I would be, lying if I would say that I wasn't disappointed. Of course, I was. But, with the right support from my friends and mentors around, I got to know that, this is just the beginning. And they made me realize that how each person is also valuable, how that each like is also valuable. Because of that, today, even after a lack of followers, even when I just get about 200 to 300 likes, it doesn't really bog me down. I feel like each like over there, each comment over there is valuable because every person has given their time and attention to my post. So I really don't look at the number now. It's just that I look at how satisfied the content makes me, because before writing, I research on the topic, I read it enough in order to simplify it in the most crisp way, because that is what LinkedIn posts are all about, and that is how they gain attention on the platform.
Yeah,
So I enjoy the journey, I enjoy the process more than the destination, which is just the likes. So I think that is what has helped me grow, touchwood, and that has helped people also see the value add that I give on the platform. The most sad part about the platform is that many people are there which are doing a great job providing some valuable content, but they're not being recognized purely on the basis that some people tend to like or comment on pictures that are being posted. Like LinkedIn has becoming more like Instagram or Facebook. But it's an open platform, everybody is free to do whatever they want to do. But the essence of LinkedIn shouldn't be missed, and people whosoever are joining on LinkedIn should know who should they be connecting with. And for that, they need to create a focus as to what they are interested in. If you're interested in cooking, there are many chefs on LinkedIn also, you will find them writing about their stories, sharing their experiences, etc. So it's important to understand who you are, and then I
right.
think when you figure that out, at least a little bit, if not fully, then you can understand what the platform is all about and how you can contribute to the platform. So I think that's what I did. And business stories was something that I identified my interest in and started writing on. And of course, it's a game of consistency, which gives fruit in the ultimate run. So I think that is what has led me to be here.
That's really interesting and amazing. So we all know you are such an awesome content creator. You kind of make the topics really easy to understand with interesting facts. So what does it really take to become a content creator, and when did you start writing?
So you become a creator only when you start with something, and creation is nothing but something put into action. So unless you put your ideas or thought into action, you will never know how it is like. And the simplest step to start with to become a content creator is to write a piece on anything that you like. You don't have to care so much about people as to what they will like or what they won't. If you make them like, if you like what you're doing, ultimately you will see the results. And that's what the law of universe is also like. Of course, some people get success, some people don't, but it's just a game of destiny, it's just a game of chance. Hard work, skill, everything comes into play. You can't blame one for the other or bargain one for the other. But I think that on LinkedIn, especially if you want to start your journey as a content creator, you need to identify your interest. What are you interested in? Because it's a game of consistency. Like I said, if you're not interested in a particular topic, it won't make you motivated enough to write on it on a daily basis or say alternate day basis. So like you're doing something that you love, Kashish, that is speaking to different people, hosting them, and then writing about them on LinkedIn. And that's what keeps you going on, right? So I
Yeah,
think in order to just be a creator, you need to identify the creativity within you and what makes you excited and keeps you going on. I think when you have achieved that, you will definitely see results coming in. And achievement of that is not an easy process, by the way. I also took about a year at least to identify what I like writing on in the longer run. And once I got through, I just didn't stop because that is something that I love doing. And I am really passionate about news, about business stories, innovation and tech, everything. So this is about the individual contribution, but as man is a social animal, you also need support and mentorship from people around you. So it's very important to get the right kind of people to train you and show you the right path. Of course, your family is one, but apart from that, choose your friends very wisely. It's okay to make foolish mistakes, because that's how you learn and that's how you gain experience. If you've not made mistakes, I don't think so you are a very experienced person or a wisdomized person.
Right,
So I
absolutely.
think to build that intelligence, you need to uh, face failures, you need to experience the pain, and then only will you be able to make the right decisions. But the timeline of this should be very thought through. At your uh, career, in your career stage, at a very young age, you should surround yourself with right kind of people who motivate you, who show you the right path, who are not influenced by any kind of politics, be it in work or college. So just start with something. That is what I would say. And don't shy away from taking help. A man has grown in from stone age till now by taking help from different things around
Right.
them. The most important part of human that makes a human is that they are very aware of the surroundings. So don't isolate yourself into a shell. Be aware of what's around you, and just try to be opportunistic when it comes to learning. Opportunistic doesn't always mean greed. It also means curiosity to learn, to explore newer things, because that just excites your mind and triggers your mind to search for more and more things. And that's how you build your focus. People think that if you focus on one particular thing, only then can you build your focus, but that's not true. Unless you try different options, your mind will keep on racing and will keep on telling you that you haven't done this, why are you doing this, etc., etc. So you need to be best friends with your mind first, and then best friends with your mentors, coaches, and other people who really support you in a positive manner. So I think I had my friends way back when I was in my college, when I was in the entrepreneurship cell of my college. My friends always supported me. They told me how to read news, because I wasn't a person who used to read newspapers. I really didn't even find interest, or rather I didn't find purpose as to why do people read newspaper. I used to always wonder when I saw some students in the library studying newspapers. But as we say, everyone has their own time, and everyone matures at their own pace. So I think I also did that. And by 2019, when I was doing my internship at insideiam.com, after work, I used to stay back in the office. I used to dedicate at least an hour to reading news on a daily basis. And that's when I realized that there's so much going on around in the world, and how can I miss out on this? This is so interesting. And that's how I started to search more and more. My mind got triggered. It got ideas as to what should I write on. And once I got into that pace, there was no stopping back. Till date, I really get excited every day when I see newspapers. I'm excited to see what's in there, what's going on around the world, and whatever I like and whatever I like, I think people will also like that, because at the end of the day, we all are humans. Our mind is just wired in different ways, but the basic component of ours remain the same. Our cranial capacity is almost the same of each human on earth. So I think whatever I like, I write on it. Some people like it, some people don't, but usually it's been the case that people like it. And it's because I have put in enough time in research and not just written for the sake of it. So that's very important, that you should do something that you want to do for yourself, and not that you want to do for others. That's the only motto that I followed in life, and I think everyone should also follow.
Wow, great. Like, thanks for sharing. I hope this will help my audience. So, yeah, you write a lot about startup ecosystem. So, what key difference do you see in startup versus old companies culture?
Yeah, I think startups are always on the rise. There's nothing stopping them. In fact, people are begging to startups to give their stakes. Big private equity houses around the globe, which have billion-dollar fund, million-dollar fund, they want to invest in companies today. And there are so many Indian companies that are now coming up in the space and are attracting foreign investors globally. But startup space has become so strong that even the founders are not ready to dilute their stakes so early. They just don't accept the proposal of private equity funds. Whereas in old company, what happens is they are running behind these funds. But in startups, the money funds are running behind startups to put in the money, so the whole game has changed altogether. And today the startup ecosystem has become so powerful that it has the capacity to acquire even 100-year-old company. Even a 10-year-old startup today can acquire a 100-year-old company, and it's only because it's being directed by right management. It knows its vision, its purpose, and it's just not a money making business. In older days, people used to start businesses and industries with an intent to make money. And in that, I think they lost their purpose or vision somewhere. And the whole industry sector is on a collapse right now. Whatever, like Vadia Industries, Wellspun Group, all of them were very famous names back in those days. But today, if we see, they're not performing so well. Of course, they're also famous in the market. But if you compare it with the startup, if you compare both of their growth trajectories, you will see startup performing much more. And I think that in today's space, it's just your determination to grow the company, to see how it can benefit the people around, and to see the future potential of it. People, when they started out the businesses initially, the older companies, they only saw the benefit of their own or their family. Most of them were family businesses. Nobody thought that how it could benefit the overall spectrum of the human kind. But today's startups are actually coming up with problems that is faced by every human being, and that is what differentiates a startup from an older company. And I think given this, there's a lot of potential for it to grow. And you might not know about many private equity funds, but the sovereign wealth funds of different countries, like the government of Singapore, the Saudi Arabia King's Fund, all of them are already investing in companies like Geo, which is owned by Reliance. So
Yeah.
it's not that older companies have gone down the drain. It is just that if they reinvent themselves, if they re-innovate, they can again come back into the space. If Reliance wouldn't have launched Geo, I don't think so. It would have made Mukesh Ambani as powerful and rich as he is today, right? Because petroleum and oil gas business of theirs, if you see, has gone down the drain. It's not performing really well. But they understood what the market wants. They understood what's the need of the hour, and they came up with this Geo. And in in hindsight, if you see, Geo was also a startup. It established itself as a startup, and it's now a full blown company. Because it has funds from all over this place, and it just set to grow itself. So I think older companies also have a chance, but it just needs the right kind of vision, determination, and the management. Ultimately, it's the people who's driving the business. So unless you have the right kind of people in your business, it can't thrive. And I think startup industry is thriving on the basis of their people only. If you see a startup culture, the culture there is very collegial. There's not a single mark of hierarchy that's present there. But in older companies or MNCs, if you visit, there's still a culture of sir or ma'am. People are very hesitant on asking questions. They just work for money. They just don't care about the company. They just care about their salary. So these are some small parts of human elements that also differentiates a company from a startup. So combining all of it together, I think now you understand why a startup is doing much more better in the market than an older company. Some startups though have also gone public, and companies which are more than 50 years old have not even gone public as yet. So that just shows that how much potential does a startup hold and how far it can go. So it's a very nice future that looks extremely bright, and it can just make one curious to see as to how these startups will pan out in the say next 5 to 10 years. So we just have to like wait and watch. But ultimately, the future looks bright, is what I'll say.
Wow, like great. So tell us about the formula of consistency on LinkedIn, because we all mostly fail it.
Yeah, I think consistency differs as per different people. For me, it's either almost on a daily basis or on an alternative basis. For some people, it might be once in a week, once in a month, once in a year. You can't really define it for others, but for me, it was almost on a daily basis. And once you define goals for yourself, make sure you achieve it, because if you don't, your mind will make you think that you can't even do this much. What will you do further? So
Right.
don't let yourself down. When there's a saying, right, that don't let yourself down, it only means that don't let your mind look down upon yourself,
Yeah,
because you
like
had
believe
decided
in
something for
yourself.
yourself, and if you're not achieving it, yeah, and if you're not achieving it, you're just not being happy. Everything is in the mind. Our hormonal system is controlled from our mind. Our blood pumping system is controlled through our mind, which runs our heart, which makes us think, which makes us feel. Everything is in the control of our mind. So I think once you've aced how to control your mind, how to play around, I think that's when you will understand what consistency for you is. And don't really set your goals depending on what others are doing. And this is where some people go wrong. They just want to be like someone else and follow them, which is not wrong, but don't follow them as much as that you lose your identity in the process. So that's when I say, what is self awareness. It's important to realize what you have, and then follow what others have. So I think that's the only key to it. I know it sounds very philosophical, but unless you experience it, you won't believe in it. So I'd suggest everyone to do it, experience it, and only then believe in whatever I'm saying.
Wow, thanks for sharing the hack. Should definitely help. So yeah, if you get a chance to go back in 5 years in time machine, what will you do definitely from what you have done now?
Yeah, I think I would have read newspapers because I think I started reading newspapers at a very later stage in my life. I didn't even look at it since, you know, I I I used to sit in the library and see everyone studying or reading newspapers, but I never, looked at it. I was just into my own reading of novels, of other non-fictional books, which is also helpful. But I just think that if I would have read newspapers at a younger age, I could have started out early. I see today people of your age, people younger to you. I just recently chanced upon a LinkedIn profile which was of a 9-year-old boy. So,
Yeah,
the world is moving very fast, and you never
yeah,
know
yeah,
how
absolutely.
younger people are going to turn out. You yourself are one of them, Kashish, and it's really great to see that how at a young age you have realized the importance of doing all this. People take ages to realize this. So I just think that I think I've done everything right, because if I wouldn't have done what I did, I wouldn't have reached here. But just one part which I think that I could have done more is that I could have learned more. I could have used the opportunities that were given to me in my college, in my surroundings, and I think it would have just made me a more knowledgeable person as I am today. But I think personality wise, everything shapes you. Not necessarily do you have to follow a stricter path, or one path that is given to you. If you follow different paths, that's how you learn and grow. So I think, yeah, that's the only thing that I would want to do: look at newspapers more wisely and more often.
That's really interesting. Like you're too clear on your thoughts. Like I wanna read those newspapers, would love to gain the same quality for myself. So what's the biggest source of motivation? Something which really motivate you like 90% when of the time, 90% of the time when you was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
the endless possibilities in life, and so much activities around. When I just see it, it just motivates me. Social media is one bit that gives you a picture of how the world is functioning, how different parts of the world have different kind of people who are doing various things which are inspiring, some of which are heartbreaking. But you know, the world is so beautiful. The life has so many things to offer to you, and you can only experience once you travel, once you see it through your own eyes, once you hear it through your own ears. And I think travel is something that motivates me a lot, because I think that's how I will experience life more and more. As humans, I think our motto in life here is to live life fulfillingly and not just fill life with
right.
the desires, the small desires like money, house, food. All of that will come naturally to you. But if you don't live as if it's the last day, and if you don't live as if you're given a gift, you're each day is a gift to you. I feel that you're not living uh, freely and completely. So I think travel is something that excites me a lot. And be it travel from work, travel for personal purposes, for recreation, could be anything. But I think it's the travel that excites me every day.
Wow, like super. That's a great thing to keep ourselves motivated. So yeah, you are also
Yeah.
a Kathak, you are also a Kathak dancer, classical singer, and a chess player. What made you choose content creation as a career over these passions?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, that I just love exploring everything because life is all about exploration. If you haven't done one thing, you have definitely missed out on it. There's no reason as
Right.
to why you shouldn't try one thing over the other. You should try everything out. Uh, but the reason why content creation came up, and these things are right now, deep down, not on the surface as of now, is because I feel that I can grow more in content creation. That is something that I am known for. It is something which gives me more identity in the market. Everyone should know what their strengths are and work on their strengths rather than working on their weaknesses. Dancing, singing is something that makes me feel good, but that is not something that I would want to portray it out to the world. Content creation is something that I want people to read as to what my thoughts are on a particular topic. Some people are isolated in a way that they would want to keep their thoughts to themselves. There are many poets who write a lot, who are great at their creativity and thought process, but they don't want to put it out there in the public. But I am not one of them. um, for my content, I feel that it should be put out in the world. People should read it because as a journalist, I want to portray news in a way that people don't think that it can be done. I want to do something unconventional, something that people thought that it could never be done. Simplicity is something that is lacking, although
Awesome.
it's very simple, but it's just lacking somehow. you know and I want to build upon that, and I feel that I have a market potential. I see the growth, and that's why I chose the journey of content creation and journalism. I just love talking to people, interviewing them, asking them questions. I'm a person with a curious mindset, and I know what needs to be asked and what doesn't. So I think I just build on my own strengths, and it's not easy to identify your strengths, and that's why I said you need the right kind of mentors or coaches in your life who can tell you what you're good at and who can navigate some decisions for you. So yeah, that's how I identified my passion for content creation.
That's awesome. So yeah, guys, I'm sure like you have got something really interesting out of the discussion, and I'm totally loving it full of insight. So yeah, here are some rapid fire questions for you. You're gonna get 20 seconds for each of them. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm quite excited. I think this is the best part of the interviews. I just have really like rapid fires. Since childhood, I used to play this game in my school also, and I have been good at it. So let's see how I perform here.
Sure. So tell us something about yourself which is not there on your LinkedIn profile.
Oh, I have actually posted one of my painting pictures on LinkedIn. I remember it just got 70 likes back in 2018, but that 70 like was a heavy number for me because I never got so much of traction back in those days, and that was a very special memory for me. But apart from that, I also do Canva painting and
You are a
watercolor
painter
painting. Then I'm
too. Like means you are a painter
yeah,
too.
yeah. So that's one thing that's not on my LinkedIn.
Okay. So one personality you want to meet in person.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
One personality you want to meet in person.
Oh, I think that would be Albert Einstein. But since I can't meet him in person, I'll meet him in my mind by reading his theories because I feel that he's a very intriguing man. And he's something he used to live in his own world. And that's how he explored his own creativity. And he never was apart from the world as well. he was just very passionate about what he did, and I think that was something that I
Right.
really cherish about him.
Okay. So a book you want to recommend to all the readers?
Yeah, I think it would be Measure What Matters by John Doerr. It talks about how you should be measuring every word that comes out of your mouth in the professional industry. Of course, with friends, family, you can be open, but in the professional circle, you should only speak after giving it a thought. You never know how you will offend a person or how a person would take it. So
Right.
giving it a thought, giving it a nice flavor, and then putting it across makes things better. So I think that book talks about it, and yeah, that's why I like it a lot.
Wow. So yeah, thanks for sharing it. So I'm giving you some names. You have to tell me what quality you will take from those following people. So yeah, there are three people. First,
Yeah.
Kunal Shah from Cred.
Oh, his simplicity in the way he writes on social media, especially LinkedIn. That is something I need to learn. And the way he has grown his startup and is now becoming a venture capitalist and a serial entrepreneur is way too inspiring. But to begin with, simplicity in whatever he does is something that I'll take from him.
Great. Okay, Ankur Wariko.
The way he speaks, because there are many people who are talking about the same content as he is doing, but because he has done something in his life and then he is speaking about it established a certain level of credentials and credibility to whatever he's saying. And the way he speaks is just very motivational. So I think that is something that I will also take away from him.
Okay. So Vijay Shekhar from Paytm.
Oh my god, that guy is incredible. The way he has just broken every kind of barrier and have established Paytm after 30s. It's just incredible. People after 30s, they think that what is there for me to do? I have been used to the job. I don't think so I can do something anymore. My passions, ambitions have already died. I've crossed my 20s. But that guy wasn't such. He still completed everything that he did and still pursued his passion and launched Paytm. So I think that drive and determination is the factor that really attracts me.
Wow. So well, you answered all the rapid fire questions really well. Okay, so thank you so much. Would you like to say something about me and the show?
Yeah, in fact, such kind of shows really makes me think about what I have done so far and how my journey has been. It just triggers my mind into a space where it just makes me go back to the lane, go back in time and see how it was. It just makes me more appreciative of everything that I have, more grateful. So I think these shows are very helpful for people who you interview as well, because you just give them an experience by asking them questions and triggering their mind to travel into a space that was gone long back behind. So thanks a lot for having me, and keep doing the work that you're doing. I'm sure that by the time you're my age, you will have a lot of things in your head. You will be a much more smarter person than what I am at this age. And of course, I look forward to your show being very popular in the coming few uh, months or years, because whatever you're doing, it is out of pure passion, pure interest. There is nothing very transactional in it. And I think this is the best part about you. Otherwise, shows sometimes these days are uh, paid. You don't really get to talk about your story unless you give them money. There are a lot of politics that goes on in big corporations and houses, but smaller shows like yours and your innocence really reflects in whatever you do. And I feel that the Talkify show will achieve greater heights very soon if you keep on doing whatever you're doing, and if you are consistent at whatever you do. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. That really mean a lot for me. Any message for our audience watching you?
No, I think just follow your mind. People say follow your heart, but sometimes heart just makes you run like a headless chicken. You don't know what you're doing. You just can't understand what's going around. But if you are best friends with your mind, you know what you need to do. You know how to navigate through. So I think, yeah, just follow what your mind says. And to make your mind say something, keep on reading, keep on learning, keep on giving it some food. Unless you give food to your stomach, you don't really feel fresh, or your stomach doesn't feel full. So just keep your mind full of energy, of curiosity and knowledge. I think, yeah, that's the only thing that will help you in whatever you do.
Thank you so much. Like, that's a brilliant takeaway. So yeah, here's the end. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure hosting you today. And yeah, so good afternoon for now and have a great day ahead.